Recording in progress.
Great. Good morning. So we were just starting to have a really great conversation here that I want to pick up on, which is somebody in the group was talking about kind of what she's trying to create in this next chapter of life. And one of the things that I'm wanting to talk about is right now, especially during this season of moving in towards more darkness, we are invited to actually get more hours of sleep, and also, you know, what a lot of cultures, specifically Native American, would call kind of the dream time. Times of being quiet, of not being in accomplishment mode, doer mode, engagement with people, but, you know, maybe quiet walks, you know, quiet moment where you're not necessarily sleeping, but you're just feeling and noticing, and maybe you're listening to a beautiful piece of music, whatever, right? These are very powerful and profound, and we don't want to miss this. They are part of building the path of our rich future. And more specifically, the very last kind of period of time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes before you fall asleep, and once you wake up, are considered the most powerful for feeling how you would like your life to feel, and then helping to manifest that. Because there's this thinning of the veil, as we think of it, between the conscious and the subconscious. And in that place, you can be less in a kind of planner doer, like making a list, okay, how do I want my life to look? Which often will actually stymie us, because then we'll think, well, I don't know how, right? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, you know, get the money to do the thing, or have the help from somebody, have that person show up. I don't know how to manifest that by the specifics, but what we do know is how to create reality by feeling how we want it to feel. And that's where we need our attention. And so I'm inviting you during this time of, again, the dimming hours of daylight, to kind of make a date with your dreaming self. And some of you might be like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And others might be like, I don't even know what that means. In which case I would be delighted to have more conversation about it. But it is unusual in our culture to see that as productive. You're like, what? I could be knitting socks. I could be, you know, chopping firewood. I could be, you know, whatever. I'm not doing anything. Yes, you are. That closing your eyes, that going inward, that beginning to imagine on the movie screen of your mind how you're wanting this reality you're calling in to feel in your body, to see every detail of it you can. That is profound and useful work. If I call it work, you'll feel like it's worth it, right? So, you know, I'm gonna let that kind of, what's the word? Not gestate with you, I guess that works too, but percolate, thank you. Percolate with you, and I would be delighted to have any follow-up conversation with anybody who wants to talk about that or think about other ways to do that work. Yeah. For now, let's come into our breath, because that is the most efficient drawing into our body experience and the present moment that we can find. So as you're ready, just come onto your back body, corpse pose. And I'm just gonna get kind of active, wiggling around, noticing like, what's going on? Maybe you roll your head a little side to side. Yeah, reach, I see people reaching arms overhead. I love it, yes. Maybe you're cultivating a yawn. It might be fake or real. And then as you're ready, we're going to come into corpse pose with whatever arm position works for you. So I like kind of working my shoulder blades in underneath the spine, letting my palms rotate open towards the sky. And there I feel a beautiful kind of softening of the upper back, where so many of us are really tight. Let's come into 3 sighing breaths, please. Inhaling slow, deep and wide. Beautiful. We're going to come right into compression and expansion breathing. So on that next exhale, firmly drawing the abdomen towards the spine, the back towards the floor, empty, empty. Is there more? You should feel that pelvis tilt up as those front abdominal muscles shorten. When there's nothing left, soften. Allow yourself to be breathed. This is powerful work, as simple as it seems. See if you can sip in a little extra inhale at the upper end. This is energizing. This is where we get an extra oxygenation of our breath. But actually, the whole cycle starts with that empty, right? We're creating receptive space that the breath can simply fill. One of the things that I like imagining is that we're not just filling with breath during this time, but any energy that you are wanting to bring in. What have you been wanting to connect with? Deep and powerful emptying. You might add that ujjayi, throat contraction. Yeah, light connection, tip of the tongue, roof of the mouth. Soft gaze. So we're concentrating all this power in our center body while staying relaxed in the neck. A wonderful dichotomy. Ujjayi is an opportunity to make your own kind of white noise for the brain. It's also often considered like ocean wave sound or wind in the trees sound. And I'm practicing it here laying down because this is the easiest place, first of all, to tell the neck, hey, it's okay to relax, and to kind of train ourselves or retrain ourselves to not shrug or tighten the neck. But this can be done beautifully when you are walking, standing. It can really change how you move through space. Compression, expansion, and breathing also increases our metabolism. And we love to think about that as we're entering these fall and winter months. I love getting all hot from the inside. It really helps me go, I'm gonna be okay, versus fearing winter. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of internal heat and power and vitality. We just need to wake it up, tap into it. All right, as we continue, I'm gonna invite you to add rock pose. So the next time you are exhaling compression, make sure you've anchored that low back first and then engage. Hands into fists, arms into sides, butt cheeks, thighs, empty, empty, empty. When there's nothing left, you might just relax for the inhale or enjoy reaching arms overhead. Maybe you do a little bit of each. We're going to be here for about a half a dozen rounds, something like that. So when you are in your deep body engagement, scan please the head, the neck, the tongue for unnecessary tension. We would love to be powerful and peaceful. It's kind of the same energy we bring into our warrior postures. We're not striving, we're not stressed out. You guys look fantastic. As we come into these last couple of rounds, if you want to add a little sit-up motion, go for it. See if you can lengthen the breath just a little bit more. If you can whisper when you're exiting the breath, there's still some in there. Empty, 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 empty. And that last one is complete inhale, sweep arms overhead, and begin stretching, clasping one hand around the wrist and then the other. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. You might go back and forth. You might hold a little longer on one side. Oh, hello, side body. And then we'll bring the arms down and clasp both to a tight little ball seed pose. And just rocking a little side to side. It can bring some marvelous, especially if you release the knees a little and then bring them back in a little bit. And then we're going to plant our feet for bridge pose. So planting the feet parallel, maybe 6 inches apart, always working those shoulder blades a little in towards the spine. And on the exhale, raising the hips. On the inhale, descending slowly as you can. Try not to use the neck to control that movement. It's all about butt and thighs. And again, exhaling, rising. Deeply curious about the breath. Is there more? Inhaling, descending. Obviously, this is to your breath timing. I'm just giving kind of a framework. We'll do one more like that. The next time you're exhaling, we're coming to happy baby. I'm going to bring the knees towards me and clasp at the ankles, the big toes, the blades of the feet, maybe placing a scarf or strap across the arches of the feet, and drawing the knees down towards the mat. Shoulder heads down the back body, tailbone tilting towards the mat. And then applying big belly breath. This is a place where we might get a deep stretch down into the hips and even in the pelvic floor if you kind of expand that breath and press it downward. And on our next exhale, bringing the heels together by the butt in butterfly. Some of us will just hang out and breathe. Others might add a little sit-up motion and a little windshield wiper as I think of it, bringing one foot towards the head and then the other. Just some nice movement for the hips. And then we're going to release and plant the feet wide, horse riding stance, still working shoulder blades in towards the spine before rising up. If you feel any tension as we kind of hang out here in horse riding stance, if you feel anything awkward in hips, knees, play with your foot angle. Or also if you're really wide, maybe you need to come in a little bit. You just need to be wider than neutral for this to be useful. So as long as those feet are wider than the hips, you've got plenty. The next time you release, we're going to do a little windshield wipering with the knees. I'm going to send the right knee down towards the center line and reach the right arm up and back. The left knee could stay mostly upright, or some people like flopping it out to the side. And I find them both useful. They're just quite different. Slowly switching. As much as possible, folks, stay in your core while you're doing this. So there's a little abdominal engagement towards the spine. And that just helps stabilize the low back as we're making this journey through these very kind of wide range of motion happening through the hip and all the connections up into the pelvis. I think of the pelvis like the hub of the wheel, you know, all the stuff connects up in there. And it's marvelous, but it also means it's susceptible to stressors, non-stability. Coming on back to center, we're going to create some stability in that low pelvis, bringing your soles of your feet together, knees settling towards the floor in a relaxed butterfly. If you feel any low back pressure, you might lift the hips and kind of tuck the tailbone so that the low back is sort of being invited to settle towards the mat. Inviting a few long, relaxed breaths to move down and down and down. Don't even think about how the breath apparatus works. That your diaphragm here across the ribs, on the inhale, the lower lobe of the lungs draws down, and that's why it moves the stuff in your abdomen. It kind of displaces everything and creates a stretch down into that lower abdomen and pelvis. And then at the very end of the inhale rises up into the chest. If you'd like to activate this pose, raise the hips just an inch or so off the floor. It does not take much to then get the low glutes and inner thighs a pretty good workout. We're gonna hang out here for about a minute. If that's too much, you're feeling any kind of, pinching or nerve stuff, you'll want to come out. Your hands might be on your hip bones, or again, rotated out in kind of a jet airplane, relaxed, whatever feels comfortable to you. Noticing there's very little to attend to here other than breath. Slow, deep, and wide. Ujjayi. We're going to do some breath practices today we haven't done in quite a while. We're going to do some bellows breath and other things that are really wonderful for cleansing and increasing warmth and energy. And we've got another 20 seconds or so. Breathing, noticing, and you could always come out. Then our next posture is just rotating the soles of the feet towards the floor and bringing those butterfly wings together. So total contact through the inner thighs as you raise the hips, just a little off the floor. Again, there's no intention that they be high as they are in bridge. Nice deep wake up for that inner line. Hello. And relaxing, good. I usually need to straighten the legs, kind of give them a kick up to the sky before I come into reclined pigeon. So I'm going to cross right ankle onto left thigh. Hug the right knee tightly to my chest while I raise the left leg if possible. And send that knee a little towards the central line. I enjoy, while holding this, doing some head rotations. So exploring mobility. Deep, deep breath. And slowly switching, again, giving any kind of counter movements or releases you need that your body asks for. Hugging left knee to chest, of course the ankle's crossed on the thigh, raising the right leg if possible. And sending the knee a little towards the center line, and once again exploring head rotations. We generally don't think about the connectivity between the pelvis and all the way up into the neck because we have enough fluidity that we don't have to be aware of it. But actually it's just all part of the same ropey structure, right? Not to mention the nerve connectivity. So it's really useful in most poses to do some head range of motion. And releasing there, we're going to come back up into bridge and we're going to add a little bellows breath. If you want to be in Yoga Mudra, intertwining the hands behind the back, by all means do. I want you to feel zero neck pressure, so lift your chin up and back. And please join me through the nose, wrap it in and out. If this is creating too much head pressure, or if you've got uncontrolled blood pressure, or you feel dizzy or something, please don't do this. Otherwise, you can continue with me for just another maybe 6 or so in and outs. And then a long inhale. Exhaling all the way down. And knees to belly. Seed pose. Option to just deep belly breathe here, or to add a sit-up motion on the exhale, bringing your knees towards your head and head towards your knees. If you feel like this just adds unwanted neck tension, leave the sit-up portion out and just do the core work, because there's plenty here. You're emptying, 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 and squeezing. Again, compression breath. All right, we're going to come into a little spinal twist. So keeping my thighs activated, feet flexed, I'm going to take my knees all the way to my left, using my left hand to anchor them.
and then reaching my right arm out behind. And here's another beautiful place where we explore. Your arm comes up by the ear, maybe back down by the hip or 90 degrees. You can circle across the body. You can point and flex through the palm. And that can bring some marvelous release up into the arm, armpit, shoulder, and so on. And perhaps you'd like to extend that top leg out into your left hand. If I do that, I usually just prop my elbow on the floor and have my hand kind of supporting from underneath. Deep, abiding breath. And bringing that knee back, your option of coming back with more core effort, kind of keeping those thighs together, or just gently one knee at a time, what we call opening the book, closing the book. Sending those knees to the right, right hand anchors the thighs, and reaching open through that left arm. And we are yogis, so we are tuning into breath, and we're deeply curious about the sensation here. How is my left shoulder or arm different? And of course, it's not just those parts, but we're feeling all the connecting tissues down into the intercostals, rib cage, pectorals. Boy, howdy. Nothing like stacking firewood to make you feel some new muscles. And notice any little add-ons that feel just perfect to you, including perhaps extending that top leg into your supporting hand. I hope you'll treat this like a massage you're giving yourself, and you'll really tune into those zones of sensation and go, oh yeah, wow, let me get in there more with my breath and my attention. We're gonna be coming up to hands and knees. For some people, just coming up from the side here, using your hand to press up is nice. Others will want to come to the back body, spinal rock, and so on. Intelligent hands, table pose, cow cat. As you make this organic, notice what would feel good. Maybe you're doing extra little side to side movements. Maybe you want to wiggle your jaw side to side. Maybe you're wanting to furrow up your eyebrows, scrunch up your face, do a lion stretch. Lion stretch, opening that jaw wide. The next time you're in cat back, invitation to notice all those core muscles, keep them engaged as you lengthen your spine to stable table. So we should be able to clap. We've got all that core support. Powerfully anchor your shoulder heads back into your body, down the body, because we're going to take that right knee up and out to the side, fire hydrant. And we would love not to compromise in any way. So try not to bend the elbow, try not to slide your left shoulder forward. Take one more big inhale, see if you can lift that knee a little higher, push the earth away. And release. Lovely. Cow cat. Inhaling to stable table, take that left knee out. Make sure you're drawing the right shoulder blade down the back. Try not to bend the elbow or compromise. Yeah. You can feel how that brings you into a different kind of work, doesn't it, than if you lean or what have you. Yeah. See if you've got one more big breath, lifting that knee higher. Again, it's like you're pushing the floor away with your other knee. Beautiful. Returning that knee, we're going to come into knee down, upward facing dog. So I'm going to come forward with my hips and heart. If you feel your hands are too far back, just walk them forward a little bit. Exhaling, press back, child's pose. We'll do this a few times, letting the breath move us through space. Inhale and flow forward. Broaden the heart, relax neck and tongue. Is there more? Push the earth away. It's really valuable. This is a great place to strengthen our upper body without quite as much pressure as when we're on our feet in upward dog. They say one of the more important things for our bone strengthening is pushing, right? Pressing weight. Here you're pressing your own weight against the earth. Maybe give your wrists a little roll out love up here. All right, we're gonna come into our fire hydrant again, and I'm gonna offer a little more intensity. You don't have to take it. So if you feel like you're already kind of struggling with staying in integrity, just work with the weight of your bent leg again. Shoulder heads anchor, core is there. In fact, tuck your tailbone a little until you can feel that pelvic floor kick in. Inhaling, raise that right knee, neck is relaxed. If you'd like more intensity, straighten that leg out like you're kicking the right hand wall. Breathe deeply, push the floor away, see if you can get that leg a little higher. Woohoo! Bring that leg in towards you and cross it behind you. So I'm placing the ball of the foot on the floor. You got it. We're gonna do a little kicking, and I want you again to make sure you're not arched. Beautiful adjustment. Exhaling, swing that leg out to the side. Inhaling, bring it back. And you can do a little speed up of breath if you want, or you can keep it nice and slow. Better watch out where I am kicking stuff here. Couple more. And relax. Good. Give yourself a little love up, wrists, low back. You guys feel a little bit of heat up that comes with that?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. See, we need not fear winter. All right, nice core support. And as you're ready, send that left knee into fire hydrant, back left shoulder, etc. Send that leg out into a straight leg if that's working for you. If not, keep it bent. Take another inhale, bring it up, up, up. And then releasing, bringing it behind you and to the right. Keep that core support. Big inhale. Exhale, sweep it out. I enjoy both fast and slow. I find they're very different. I can really feel individually the muscles that I'm working when I do it slow. More. Ah, lovely, and release. Yeah, let's go into a proper child's pose. Take those knees wide. Roll out those wrists. This kind of work in the long run is really good for our wrists. It's the kind of both flexibility and strength training for them that will keep them maybe from breaking if you slip and fall on ice. But it can be kind of intense while we're doing it. So we always want to love them up. And if you feel sore, like later in the day, that's a sign that we, either we're on them too long or that maybe that 90-degree angle does not work great for your body and you can do fists instead. So they should never hurt later. Should just be a good strengthening. Please begin to walk your hands forward. And I want you to kind of spider walk, as I think of it, little fingertips on the mat. Keep walking, keep sliding your tailbone back until you feel like you've gone as far as you can go, and then 3 deep breaths. Big inhale. On the exhale, feel free to release through the mouth, sigh, or whatever feels nervous. Thread the needle. I really love thread the needle right here, but some of you might prefer it in table pose or even the standing version. I'm going to take my right arm underneath, palm facing towards the sky, and settle on my right shoulder and the right kind of temple. And as I breathe, I've got an opportunity to feel a pretty darn good stretch through the shoulder, but also down my right waistline to the hip. And not everyone's going to feel that. It depends on how tight you are. If you're doing it seated or standing, you want the hand at the elbow to give you that right stretch. One more deepening breath. Nice exhale, core support to bring you back. And then we'll weave the other hand underneath. So I've been keeping my arm extended forward, but there is another version you can do where that hand might be right in front of your face and you're using it to kind of rotate your chest more deeply away from the floor. Some people like that.
I love it when I look out and everyone's found a slightly different thing. This is great. This is mean you're doing yoga. You found that place of wholeness, body, mind, spirit, feeling it from the inside. Yeah. And we'll use our exhale to come back to center and up to our hands and knees again, tabletop. You can even make a little cat back. Bring those knees in under the hips, cow cat. Actually, let's bring our hands wide for this and our knees a little wide and our feet. We're gonna go into our bear pose. We haven't done that for a while. Feels appropriate going into winter. Nice core support, intelligent hands. Send those hips up and back, deep knee bend. So even deeper than you might do during your version of downward facing dog. And you can send the hips a little right and left. We're gonna do a little pulsing movement here. I'm gonna inhale and come forward a little like I'm bringing my shoulders over my hands. And then exhale, press back again. Working heels towards the floor. A couple more. Again, if this is too much on the wrists, with this next thing, you could just go to forearm plank instead. Otherwise, right here, I'm gonna invite you to core support, lift the right hand and then the left hand. And I'm kind of bending and straightening my legs as I'm doing this. I'm thinking of being a big bear moving through the woods. They're kind of weirdly graceful and clunky at the same time, am I right? Marvelous. And I'm going to drop my knees on down, and this may not work great if deep knee bending does not work well for you. We'll just be here for a moment, so just be patient. We're just going to bring our hips back to our heels and then squeeze the butt cheeks forward. And then as you're ready, I'm going to support myself on my hands again. I'm going to bring my left foot forward. And I want to basically be able to hinge my hips forward. I'm trying to create a stretch in the calf and through the Achilles tendon and in a sense even through the foot. So depending on how loose you are, you may have to create more pressure. So one thing you can do is bring your hands even more forward. Yeah. And we'll switch, bring the other foot forward. This is a nice way also to get a little bit of a quadricep and hip flexor stretch without it being quite as intense as what we sometimes do in lunging. Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? We got to press back to runner's lunge, runner's stretch. Go ahead and flex the foot. We'll go to the other side again so we get this there too. I forgot how good that felt. Thank you for reminding me. Runner's stretch. Runner's stretch. Yeah. Let's find that on the other side, shall we? Then we're going to be coming to our front into bow pose practice. So if you know that being on your front body doesn't work, you could do standing, and you could do standing dancer as to get kind of some of the stretch that we get in bow pose. All right, bringing that on back as you're ready. Inhaling forward, knee down plank. Exhaling chaturanga. Bend those elbows back and in. Keep those glutes squeezed. Bring one forearm across the front. Slowly reach back for one ankle. Pause. Let that shoulder blade wing in towards the spine. Then bend the other knee. And I hope with mostly control, reach back for that other ankle. If you start to get a hamstring cramp, stop. And as you're ready, ankles are drawing towards each other, so are knees. And we're going to press the ankles into the hands. Keep those knees working towards each other and relax. And release. You might relax on your belly, maybe rock the hips. If you feel your low back needs a stretch, please go into child's pose once more. We're going to do some back body strengthening, and we're going to be doing a little more bellows breath here. Again, if you just feel stuffy or it makes you feel funky, leave it out and just do that nice, slow, deep Ujjayi breath. We're gonna be bringing the arms in and out like this, like we're flapping little wings, all right? So as you're ready, tuck the tailbone, pubic bone connects, shoulder heads are down, fingers are radiant, and you just in and out through the nose like we've done before, bellows breath, and move the arms flapping at the same time. And if you feel like it, you can add your little extension of the spine. So your choice, either body staying on the floor or raising the head and chest a little. A few more. And then a long inhale, sweep those arms forward, Superman. Exhaling, relax, turn your head to the side. Notice where that next fresh breath travels. I hope you get a marvelous massage all the way up the back body. We're gonna do some limb extension here. I'm gonna have both arms forward, palms facing each other. They can be wider than the shoulders. So especially if you feel kind of bound up in the traps and stuff when you have your arms parallel, just take them into a little of a bit of a V. Tuck the tailbone, inhaling, lengthen right arm and left leg until it feels natural to come up off the floor. If it does, don't force it if that shoulder's like, On your exhale, get longer as you come down. Yeah. Inhaling, lengthen left arm, right leg until they naturally raise off the floor, if they do. Is there more? Exhaling, getting longer as you come on down. We're going to do a number of rounds like this, so please tune into your breath, make it as long as you can. Obviously, let me know if you've got any questions, but we want to be watching for anything funky. Sometimes people, we're different side to side, and you might notice that when you try to kind of raise one arm, that you kind of try to roll your body in order to get that arm up. Try not to do that kind of compensating. Just let your natural strength shine through, and wherever that takes you is great. Looking good. Let's do one more round. So right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. And please notice what would feel good to you. Child's pose might be the perfect thing at this juncture. Remember, if knees are ever bothering you in child's pose, ragdoll is a wonderful alternate for the low back release. Nice, couple of deep breaths there into the low back. And then we're going to come up cat back and move into our downward facing dog. So remember, you never have to do full dog series. You never have to be on your wrists and hands. There's always great alternates. You can just work with cow cat on your fists. You can do forearm plank and so on. But I'm going to invite us in a full dog series and a little bit of lunging. Again, get a little bit of heat moving. So let's do our first dog series really thoughtfully, slowly. Make sure your feet are pretty close together so you can squeeze the imaginary block between your thighs. Intelligent hands, fingers are spread, rooting through thumb and index. Inhaling to your plank, and knees down will be easier, but either way, make sure you're pushing the floor away. You should be able to hop. Exhaling, chaturanga, maybe just bend the elbows 1 inch and hold, because I actually find this is the best part of the work. Then lower down, anchor the pelvis, and peel the shoulders down as you draw the heart forward, cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog, sighing breath. Slowly take that right leg flying. Again, no compensating through the shoulders if you can help it. Maybe open up that right knee and rotate your chest a little to the right. Slowly neutral it and bring that right foot forward. Pause, steer the right hip bone back, left hip bone forward. Bring hands to thighs. Exhaling when it comes, a little cat back to bring you up with stability and power and grace. Got it. Inhaling, raising the heart and looking up if you'd like a little back bend. Exhaling, we're gonna come down through jet airplane and then step back downward facing dog. So it's just a really controlled descent. Your option to hold, pump, join me in dog series, inhaling plank, knees or feet. Nice compression breath, essentially. Exhaling chaturanga, maybe just 1 inch. Check those shoulders. Inhaling cobra or upward facing dog on the feet. Neck is soft. Yeah, you guys look awesome. Downward facing dog. Sighing breath. Or just a deep ujjayi. Make sure the feet are not too far apart. Take that left leg flying. Bend the knee and open the hip. If you like, keep pressing that right heel towards the floor. Neutral it out and bring that left foot forward. Hands on thigh, left hip bone drawing back. On your exhale, coming up. Inhaling, express yourself. Exhaling, jet airplane. All the way down. Core support to lift that left foot, downward facing dog. You got it. I'm gonna invite you in a little pumping here, just upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Squeeze those inner thighs. And then your next inhale, inhaling, bend the knees and look forward. I'm preparing to hop forward, which you don't have to do, but it can be kind of fun. You want to bring belly to spine and hop. And fold. Everyone will do the rag dog. And you might swing those hips a little side to side. Either way, please do some deep breaths with me. I'm going to inhale and bring my hands to my shins to extend the spine, make a little room. And exhaling, belly to spine, deep folding. On the next inhale, drop the butt to chair pose and then rise up. Prayer hands resolving in our first standing posture of the practice. So I love noticing the amount of heat and power and everything that we've created without even being up on our feet, right? Pretty cool. Here, we're gonna raise that right knee, standing crane. Think about that standing left foot. Really use that inner thigh to push down into that inner line of the foot. We're gonna do a little twist. Taking a nice long inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, rotate to the right. You might look out beyond that backhand if you want. And return and step back with that right foot. Good. Again, that back leg might be straight or bent up to you. Either way though, left hip bone steering back, super important. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rotate left. And hug emoji arms as I think of it. And then returning center. I'm going to bring those hands back behind me in Yoga Mudra. And you might just stay right here, upright and beautiful and powerful. You might decide to hinge forward like we do in Warrior 3 or jet airplane arms, that kind of thing. Lots of core support. Maybe you feel comfortable folding towards the left leg. They call this humble warrior. Everybody release, plant those hands, step back, downward facing dog. Nice sighing breath or moving into resting pose, your choice. And we're gonna hands up. Exhaling. I've got a lot of hoppers in the room with me today. I can hear it. I love it. Deep breath. Hello, hamstrings. Inhaling, coming into your chair pose to root and rise. I do it that way because it strengthens the butt and legs and protects the low back. Let's lift that left knee into standing crane. Nice long inhale at some point and exhaling, rotating to the left. Perhaps looking out over that backhand. That's fun balancing, seriously. Center, Inhaling. Exhaling, rotating right. Right hip bone is back, left hip bone forward. Back to center, invitation for yoga mudra or else. You can also do non-dominant hand clasps. So I normally have my left thumb on top. See what it feels like to interweave the other one. And if it's weird, you need it. You're here, or perhaps joining me in Humble Warrior, or you could just go part way as well. Slow release, plant the hands, step back. Last opportunity for dog series if you would like it. You might also be craving something else, so don't hesitate. Or pumping, maybe another posture that's come into your mind right this moment. Good time to take a little sip of water or tea. It's becoming, all year can be tea season. All right, if you've got a block or a soft version of one, I really hope you'll join me in holding for a few breaths with the knees still bent. What I'm looking for ideally is that the block or object is low enough that it kind of allows for a kind of elongation through the low back. Sometimes people think you're putting the block in the low back. You're not. You're actually tractioning and letting the pelvis get drawn down, experiencing an elongation through that low spine. And it just feels so good again, especially if you've been doing, firewood, gardening, vacuuming, a lot of sitting of any sort. That area can just get very bound up. If you need something other than what you've got handy, let me know. And after a few breaths in that position, if you want to explore then just draping the body over the block, feel free to do that as well. I find them both to be useful in very different ways. When your body is draped in the long position, there's an opportunity for stretch, especially with deep breath, into the psoas muscles, deep abdominal muscles here, hip flexors, and so on. Yeah. We are going to be doing the support with the rolled up blanket or a block, etc., under the bra strap. If anyone would like something they don't have within reach, please give me a wave. I'll be happy to be your runner. I apologize, I don't have the big bolsters that some of you love for Shavasana because they're still at Third Mountain Carriage House from our Healthy Doing Day camp. I need to bring them back. What I really need is to own enough of them for all my locations, but they're expensive, so I have not quite invested that heavily yet. Every year I get some new equipment. I love our new soft blocks. They're so pretty. So staying here as long as it feels great. Take all the time in the world to create your next position. What I find is the block can work okay for me if I've got something to tuck under my head. If I don't, I find it's just creates either pressure in the low back or in the kind of occipital area. So of course, if you're still on your block under your hips, you'll remove it and then you'll place this at about the bra strap, so down below the shoulder blades. And then I keep my knees bent as I recline over the object. Notice if I need something tucked under the head, for example. This should feel good. It should feel like a welcome stretch. So the breath stretch that we get into the ribs and so on. Yeah, theoretically, we should be able to relax here, our head might be tilted back a little bit, that can be wonderful, actually, to get that stretch through the throat and neck tissues, marvelous. You know, there's so few times that we actually reach upward with our face or our neck. Wonderful, look at this beautiful elongation. Let's in fact give the shoulders their love up, taking one arm, reaching behind you, palm facing the center line, thumb facing the floor, arm is karate chop straight, and then we're gonna sweep the arm out from the ear and back in. And as you do this, and notice what your head neck movements could be, it would feel just fantastic. And of course, at any point, switch to the other side. Are the two sides different? Do you have a sense of your shoulders being different, needing something different? And when you do come off, please roll a little to one side so it's easy on the neck. And we're gonna actually be coming into forearm plank. I know you're like, wait, aren't we going right into Shavasana? Not quite, I know, I got a little couple furrowed brows. But I'd like you to be thinking about, so just now you experienced very unneutral spine, right? It was in a big arch, rib cage forward. In our forearm plank, we want to find that neutral of this xiphoid process, if you will. We practice this sometimes in downward facing dog as well. I want you to find neutral. And sometimes in forearm plank, we end up hunching like this too. Again, see if you can find neutral. Shoulders are down the back. Both sides of our core body are working equally, not one or the other. Okay. Soft tip of the tongue connecting at the roof of the mouth. Definitely, if you are on your feet, remember to think about those quadriceps, powering your thighs towards the sky, an imaginary object between the thighs that you're squeezing. Think about neutral, feel it from the inside. It doesn't matter what you look like to me or anybody. I want you to feel, you know, you might even try those two movements. What happens when I bring that rib cage deeper back into me and I get a little hunched? What happens when I collapse it a little bit towards the floor? And then where is that just right place? Strength, ease, freedom. I mean, obviously this pose is going to be work to a certain extent. A different kind of work. It's kind of a quiet process when the right partnering muscle groups and the right alignments have happened. Anytime you feel complete, you're at that edge, come on out. You might windshield wiper the knees, you might rock the hip bones. We're gonna come onto our belly and do another round of our bellows breath. And I wanna give you the option to either create again that arms like little flapping wings by your hips, or we've been practicing T-pose for quite some time now because of the benefit of it just strengthening so beautifully all across that upper back. And you could do a little flapping of the wings like this. If anything hurts or just creates a bunch of neck tension, do something else. All right, let's tuck that tailbone, so pubic bone, hip bones, pelvic triangle are connected. Arms out to a T if you want to join the raising hands up off the spine and bellows back. Again, if you can't do this without tightening the neck, consider going back to either just holding the arms in stasis and breathing with the bellows, or bringing your arms into jet airplane like we did and kind of bringing the hips. See if you can 10 breaths like that. And then a big inhale. Admit it, you feel pretty virtuous, don't you?
Yeah.
Good work there, move some stagnant energy. I love it. Feel game for one more round of arm plank? Yeah, all right, awesome.
Chanel.
Yeah. Keep your going on here. You don't have to, it's your yoga practice. But we do have the option of making forearm plank more just easeful, go onto your knees, or even more complex for the body. We can remove some forms of support. So if we release one leg from the floor, or we even take it a little out to the side and back in. We could even do frog leg, bringing the knee up by the tricep, and checking that we're not using the neck for this at all. And of course, that the tongue is soft and relaxed, because this is just for fun, for goodness. Where you feel, again, if you reach that edge where you're taking on tension versus strength, or you're just not breathing great anymore, come on out and notice what, if anything, your body would need. Does it want another bow pose? Does it want another hip stretch? Do you want to come into pigeon or reclining pigeon? Some more wrist roll up. Maybe it's a scalp massage. Maybe that's what's calming you. We're going to find our resting alignment. We're going to do a little more pranayama awareness before we actually come into our true yogic sleep. Just a little bit to peacefully take us into that right brain space. We were talking about that at the beginning of practice, the value of those few moments just before drifting off to sleep, just on waking. We're gonna do kind of a little practice daytime version of that. So once you're comfortable, whatever that is, you're going to come into just a few rounds of your breath blocks. External breath block holding out, and then internal breath block holding in. And as you guys know, the really key piece here is that you're holding as long as you can, but without letting it become a struggle. So there's no, oh, I've got to hold this as long as I can, and holding on and gripping. It's really, how can I soften around this? Holding out and holding in. We scan our body for the sensations, the areas of tension, and ask, can I soften around this? Hoping you're feeling both the power that's in that amazing body of yours, as well as some of the peace and relaxation that you've cultivated. As you release your next breath block, allow the release of all breath control, totally softening the face, including the tongue. No ujjayi. It's as if you're settling in like a baby for a sweet nap. I invite you to bring into mind in this moment any feeling in your life, any experience that you're wanting to cultivate. If you can pick one, try to absorb every detail, clarify every detail, how you would like it to feel. Any blocks come up, oh, I don't know how, or I could never, that would just notice and return your attention directly to how it would feel. Maybe you notice sensations in your belly, chest, maybe you even salivate. Let your body love what it loves. With deep attention, 3 more breaths, tuning in to how you would like it to feel. As you hear the chime of the bell, reconnect with your images and feelings about how you would like it to feel. Feel in your body. Shanti, Shanti, peace, peace. Namaste. Acknowledge your amazing, resilient body, your own good heart. Thank you so much for your tapas, your resolve in getting to the mat with me today. Such a pleasure to share this all day with you. Hope to see you again soon at the mat. I'm in the mix of trying to decide where to hold my, not when, where to hold my Thursday night classes. I've been hoping and planning to do the remainder of them at Third Mountain Carriage House, but we'll just kind of see what the temperatures do and how many people register and so on. Last week was great. It was cool, you know, but if you had layers on, it was magical. It was fun. It was magical. Thank you.
The wind and the rain.
Yeah, then we had this rain that came, so I'm hoping I'll get people who will sign up and we'll do it again. I've only got a couple people this Thursday, so. All right, folks, thanks for joining me.